right. Welcome to the Witness Protection Podcast. I know I've been a little absent lately, but to God be the glory. I've been going through some transition in my life. And as we know, life be lifing. But I do want to welcome you guys back. I had a fabulous Mother's Day. I was so disappointed because me and my daughter taped a Mother's Day episode, and I did not put my phone on D&D, and it cut our recording in half. Oh my God, it was a phenomenal conversation. But I will have her back on, my 16-year-old Kimaya. But of course, we want to start off the podcast with the game Substance. Shout out to my son. He's doing so well. As you guys know, if y'all been watching previous episode, my oldest son Orion has transitioned on his journey, and he's moved back to our home, California. So he's doing very well, and I'm so proud of him. And I know that God has great things in store for him. So this card says, what's one thing you would say to the person who broke your heart? This is so funny because I actually played this game with my ex-husband, and this is the card that he pulled. And I was able to literally tell him to his face. But what I told him and what I would say if this was the very first time that I was answering this question is that it worked out for my good. And during the process of the divorce, because it was a mutual decision, we both agreed that it was time for us to go our separate ways. However, it has not been easy on either of our ends. But I told him that it worked out for my good, that it showed me the strength and the power as a woman that I have. My ability to overcome, my ability to heal, my ability to bounce back, my ability to be willing to be accountable for the part that I played and not blame him for everything that he had done as well. It's not always easy when there's infidelity involved. And yes, this is my story, so I can definitely speak on it. There was some infidelity involved during our separation. So we agreed that we would not entertain anybody until the divorce was actually final. However, a female who was an associate of mine for years, she felt the need to not only sleep with my husband, but cheat on her own. So it was a very messy, nasty little situation, but God allowed me not to fester in bitterness. God allowed me not to get in a place of hate. God allowed me to be able to have his peace while I was going through it, because I don't know if anybody has ever dealt with that type of level of betrayal. I'm talking about the level of betrayal to where me and this girl has pictures with her hand on my stomach while I'm pregnant with me and my ex-husband's firstborn son. I'm talking about her family called me family. We were claiming each other as cousins at one point. I'm talking about that type of betrayal. So God had me in a place where I was able to hold on to his word and know that everything was working for my good. That's Romans 8:28. So that y'all already know, Witness Protection, we are Bible based. I am not speaking on anything, number one, that I have not endured. I'm not talking about anything that I'm not qualified to talk about. Anything that I'm talking about, it's because I have life experience, and I believe that life is the best teacher. So we are going to be touching on Romans 8:28. And my question to everybody out there would be, what has happened in your life where you had to know for sure that everything was working out for your good, even though it didn't seem like it? Even though it didn't seem like it. As we move past Mother's Day, I know that some people they had a rough Mother's Day. They had a rough Mother's Day. Some people, mothers are no longer living. Some people, mothers are definitely walking around this earth, but have never been, a real mother to them. There are some of us who's had to step in the role of someone else's mother because of the absence of their own mother. I know my story. My story is that, shout out to my little pillow. I love this pillow. I'm just in my whole natural, embracing my black beauty, my natural hair, things like that. So I believe we are all queens. Every woman. I believe every woman, every shade, we are queens. But my story as a young girl was that my mom battled with addiction really bad. And there is a deep level of generational curses in my family, super deep. They run very deep on both sides of my family, right? So as a little girl, I didn't have my mom present, but I did have my grandmother, which was my mom's mom. Shout out to Anna Marie. She is no longer with us. She has transitioned. But if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, who blessed me with my grandmother, she took me and my brothers in, and she raised us like we were her own. And I will forever be grateful for that. But that was my story, that I really dealt with abandonment issues as a young girl, not only from my mom, but also from my father as well. My father was a street dude. He was doing him. I'm not going to put his business out there, but he was doing him. First of all, he became a father at a very, very young age. I recently had to get my passport, and it requires your original birth certificate. So my old birth certificate was super old. It was raggedy, like you could barely read it. So this was the first time I really started like looking at like the age that my mom and dad was when they had me. My mom was 17 and my dad was 15 years old. Now, I have a 19-year-old son, and I cannot imagine little Kevin being nobody's daddy. I just can't, because of his mind frame. Like, little Kevin is so chill. Even though he's very mature, very respectful, very wise, he still has that pure kiddiness to him. So I can never imagine him. And he's 19. He's going to be 20 this year. And I cannot imagine him being anybody's father. So I don't know the pressure that my dad was under at the age of 15 to become someone's father. So of course he didn't always make the right choices or, do things the way that the world may think it should have been done. But hey, those are the parents that God gave me. And we have to know that no matter what hand we're dealt with, that God has a plan. He handpicked your mother. He handpicked your father. And it was kind of like like when you're mixing ingredients. I'm going to need a little bit of this, and I'm going to need a little bit of that. Oh yeah, and I'm going to need some of this to create this. So whatever it was that Valerie and Terry had, it's what Kiana needed. It's what Kiana needed. And even though my childhood wasn't one of those childhoods to where I grew up in the household with both parents. I cannot say that I had a terrible childhood. My grandmother always provided. We were always clean. We always had a roof over our head. We never went hungry. We didn't live in like projects or anything like that. I'm not knocking the projects, because guess what? I hung in the projects. Shout out to the Carmelitos, because them was my stomping grounds. That where all my friends was. And but fortunately, you know, we didn't have to live in those means. But I always didn't feel like I was lacking, but I didn't feel like I was better either. Like, I didn't know that we were poor. You know what I mean? I just didn't know we were poor. Like, we were on food stamps, Medi-Cal. I used to go to the fish market with that's when food stamps had like the green number 5s, I believe. The brown ones was the number $1 bills, and the purple ones was like the $10. I used to go to the fish market and get, you know, and I wasn't embarrassed. I was like, yeah, let me get that catfish, let me get that red snapper, or let me get them shrimp, you know. So like, I didn't realize that I was like living a life of poverty. Like, we were on Section 8, all that. And through it all, it was working for my good. It was truly working for my good. And I know there is so many people, and I'm saying people because a lot of people ask me, like, is this a women's podcast? No, it's not. This is not a woman's podcast. This is a people's podcast. I'm just giving my life experiences as a woman, especially as a Black woman. But this is not just for women. It's not just for Black women. It's not any type of certain group of people. This is a community of people who have experienced hurt, who have experienced pain, who have experienced like real life situations and had to overcome adversity, and, you know, having people in your life who has betrayed you, and, you know, trusting people who let you down, and still having to have that heart of meekness and love and kindness. You know what I mean? Is it always easy? Absolutely not. There's been times I was very angry at my mom. Me and my mom bumped heads many a days. You know, I've lashed out to against my mom plenty of times in my teenage years and growing up. You know, just kind of projecting my hurt on her, not knowing that even though she was my mom, she was still human, and she was still Valerie. So Valerie had her own experiences that shaped her into the woman that she had developed into. My mom has a skin situation. It's called vitiligo. So she has a skin condition to where she was fully brown at birth. And then around, I want to say maybe 6, 7, her skin started changing colors. So imagine being all brown like I am today, and you wake up and you're starting to have these white blotches and spots appearing all over your body, on your face. So now she's looking like a two-tone person. I've heard people say mean things about my mom, like calling her zebra, polka dot. Even growing up, like, me and my mom would be in public and I would get so upset. You know, I would get so upset because people would be staring, and I would get mad, and I'll be like, what you looking at? You know, just a lot of things that happened in my life manifested a lot of resentment, and not being able to trust a lot of people. But God tells us that that he knows the plan that he has for us. That's Jeremiah 29:11, which is one of my favorite scriptures. Life is not always what we think it should be, or it doesn't always go the way that we would plan it to go, but it's working for our good. That marriage may not have worked out for you. You may have thought that it was going to last forever. You might have thought they was the best thing since sliced bread. But I'm here to tell you, as you get older, you grow. The person you marry is not going to be that same person 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Me and my ex-husband were married 15 years. He just turned 38 on the 9th of this month, and I was with him since he was 17. Yeah, 17. So I watched this man grow up. And anybody that encounters him moving forward, you're welcome. Because the man that you see today is definitely not the man that I had when he was 17 and 20 and 24 and 8 and 30. I've seen him in every area of his life as he has me. He's seen me in lots of different areas in my life, and I'm not the woman that I was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm not the woman that I was 2 years ago. So we are constantly changing. And we have to know that with any relationship, whether it's with your parents, whether it's with your children, whether it's with a spouse, whether it's a work relationship, the relationship is constantly evolving, and you have to be able to evolve with it, or it's going to fall by the wayside. That's just what it is. Every relationship that we have in life, it requires work. It requires work. The one thing I love about God is his principles and his precepts. God teaches us about reaping and sowing, right? The things that we put out there is what we're going to receive back. He tells us about the golden rule. Treat those as you want to be treated. You can't expect to treat people bad, do malicious things towards people, and think that there's not going to be a day where you're going to have to reap. You're going to have to receive that back. So just know that everything that we do, even those little small things, the things that we say, this it tells us that our tongue is like a two-edged sword. You know, it can murder and it can save, you know. So we have to be very, very mindful of what we are putting out. Very mindful. Even when we're speaking on ourselves. And back to Romans 8:28, all things are working for our good. Even though you may have been dealt a bad hand, or what you think is a bad hand. Because God said with everything he created, he said it was good. That's what he said. He said it was good. So even though it may not look good to us, God says it's good. It's good. Even though you may not be in the career that you want to be in, God said you're good. Even though you may not be living where you want to live, you may not have the bank account balance that you wish you had, God said it is good. We have to be careful to not murder ourselves. We're always quick to talk about somebody else hating on us. Oh, she be hating, he be hating, you know. Oh, they coming for me. How often do we come for ourselves? How often are we hating on us? I used to love Michael Jackson when I was a kid. My uncle worked for Pepsi Cola, so I used to have like this big cutout board of Michael Jackson. But the one song that I loved by him, and I loved many of his songs, was The Man in the Mirror. He said, I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make this world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. And that has been my lifeline for the past couple of years, in this transition, in all these life-changing moments that I've been going through, is looking in the mirror and saying, Kiana, this is the part that you played in this, and in this. We cannot continue to always point the finger. We can't keep pointing the finger at mama and daddy about what they didn't do, and we in our 30s and 40s. We cannot continue to do that. Okay? They laid the foundation, and I said it a couple of days ago. It's not how you start, but it's how you finish. We have the opportunity to change the dynamic of our lives. We have that opportunity. God gives us free will. And he gives us free will for a reason. He says, you have not because you ask not. A lot of the times we find ourselves complaining about our situations. Nothing is going right. This is our conversation to ourselves. Oh, it's always going to be like this. It ain't never going to get no better. I'm broke. I'm just irritated. I'm down bad. I mean, all these negative things. And all we are doing is speaking these things into the atmosphere, and we're manifesting these negative, hurtful thoughts towards ourselves. And then we wonder why other people are able to do it to us. A person is only going to allow you to do what you allow them to do. If you respect yourself, guess what? People are going to respect you. Because they're going to know that you are not going to accept anything less than that. Some of us, not me, but some of us are in relationships to where we are getting hands put on us. This man is not working. This man is sitting around playing video games all day. This man is using your car while you're at work, running out your gas. And us as women, we can get so content with just saying, I got a man. Do you really? Because the Bible said a man that don't work don't eat. And the Bible also says that when I was a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away my childish ways. So, ladies, is it worth you saying, I got a man, and have to deal with being a man? I hope y'all caught that. Is it worth you saying, I got a man? I got somebody laying in my bed every day. I have companionship. And then you have to be forced into the role of being a man. You're the provider. You're the one leading your kids to God. You're the one making sure you're taking your kids to church. You're the one acting like you're the head of household. And that's not the way God ordained it to be. My pastor's wife always talks about the fact that we allow these men to do certain things in the beginning and then think that we can change the behavior. No, You've already set the expectation that he don't have to work, that he can sit around all day. And then you want to get mad because now you tired. It don't work that way. It does not work that way. And I don't know why God has me going there. But I just feel like as women, it's time to have standards. It is nothing wrong with being single. And I've said it before. Yes, right now, I am talking. I am courting. Well, someone is courting me. But I'm still single. Until I have a ring on my finger, and that is no disrespect. I promise you it's not. But that's just what it is. If you do not have a ring on your finger, sweetheart, you still single. That man really can do what he want to do. I don't care if he tell you he with you, he down for you. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. But if you really down with me, and you with me 100%, and it's me and you till the wheels fall off, guess what? It's going to be a rock on this finger, because no man is not going to want any other man to have access to you. And if you don't have a ring on your finger, guess what? Access. It's access. So, we have to get in a place where we know that no matter what we're going through, it's working for our good. You may not be on the job. I know the job is getting on your nerves. I know the coworker may be getting on your nerves. It's working for your good. You may not be making the amount of money you want to be making. Guess what? It's working for your good. Sometimes God puts us in a position, and it's not always about money. It's about there's somebody on that job that needs what you have. That's what it's about sometimes. There's been many a times I'm like, God, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to. And he's like, well, you said that wherever I send you, you would go. You said whatever I wanted you to do, you would do. You said not your will, but my will be done. So why are you complaining, Kiana? And immediately I get convicted, because I'm like, Lord, I did say that. Be careful what you speak out of your mouth, because your words have power. We just be empty talking. We just be saying things. And I had a conversation a few nights ago. And I told him, I said, why are you projecting these empty words to this woman and making her feel some type of way? Why are you finessing her? Why are you stroking her ego? Why are you lying to her? Because what we fail to realize is when we are doing things and saying things and we're trying to gain things for ourselves, right? You're saying things to people, you're putting on this persona to a person to gain something from them, whether it's their trust, their adoration, their love, materialistic things. Whatever you're trying to gain from that person, that is witchcraft. Let's talk about it. That's witchcraft. That's going to be on a whole nother episode. But yeah, a lot of us is walking around with these witch spirits on us. These prayers of, oh God, just, Lord, make him go to church. Or, oh Lord, I just want you to make him be faithful to me. Oh, Lord, I just want her to stop hanging with her single homegirls and her stay at the house. You are trying to manipulate this person and change this person for your own self-gain. That is witchcraft. That is witchcraft. So just know, whatever situation you're in, the Bible tells us, be content. I'm not saying it's not going to be hard. I'm not saying it's not going to be a tight space. I'm not saying you're not going to cry sometimes. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. God never said it would be easy, but he did say that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose, not our own. I know you want your kids to go to college and you want them to have these degrees and you want them to do this. But if God has not called them to that, if God has called them to entrepreneurship, you have to let them be. I know you may love that woman and you want her for yourself. I know you may love that man and you may want him for yourself. But you trying to change that person and mold them into what you want them to be? No, that's not your job. You should want them to be what God has called them to be. And sometimes that's not being with you. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. I know that's a hard pill to swallow because guess what? I had to swallow it myself. I know that the anointing that God has on my life, the mantle, the oil he has poured on me, my ex-husband did not have the capacity to walk that walk with me, to walk that journey with me. And he is not a bad person at all. At all. But there's just certain seasons in your life that things change. That does not mean that the love will go away. Because guess what? A piece of paper saying, hey, we're doing this, does not mean that this happened. It don't mean that this is going to be easy. You have to work at the separation. You have to work at the severance, the soul tie. And it's not easy. It's not easy because number one, your flesh won't what your flesh won't. And you could think you want something, and that is not what you thought it was going to be. Hey, no matter what, God will get the last say so. He will. So I just want to encourage everybody today to know, to respect your journey. Respect your journey. Respect where you are. That doesn't mean God is giving you a pass to be lazy. It doesn't mean that God is giving you a pass to be mediocre. It doesn't mean that God is giving you a pass to indulge in fleshly desires, fornication, addiction, lying, backbiting, manipulation, deception. He's not calling us to that. Those are not characteristics of Christ. He's calling us to have the spirit of the fruits of the Spirit. Love, kindness, long suffering. I'm telling you, there has been some people in my life who have dogged the track so bad that me, this right here, this flesh, wanted to dog walk them. I'm talking about wanted to hate them, wanted to cuss them, wanted to put straight hands, because they still work. But God just wouldn't let me. God wouldn't let me. I prayed for my ex-husband's mistress. I prayed for family members who have, had issues, undermined issues with me for no reason. Every time I'm in your presence, you feel some type of way. It's written on your face. I ain't done nothing to you. I mean, I ain't got a whole bunch, but I'm rich in spirit. I'm rich with the Holy Ghost. I'll tell you that. And some people, they will measure their value and their worth based on accomplishments and materialistic things. And once those things are gone, then who are you? Right? I had all that. I had the nice cars. I've had a Lexus truck before. I've had a Porsche truck before. I've had a Camaro. I've had Cadillac Escalades. I've had we've had Benzes. We've been there. I've done it. I've had it. I've been a stay-home mom and didn't have to work because my husband worked and had a good job and made sure every bill was paid. We always lived in nice places. We were homeowners before. You know what I mean? Like I've had that. But all of that does not accumulate. It does not add up to the richness of having God and knowing that he's walking with you and he's talking with you and that his favor is on your life. His hand is upon you. He's placed this treasure inside of you that he refuses to let die, that he's cultivating, that he will use people that you never thought he could use, that he will cause people to be casualty of war to make sure that you reach your purpose. That's the kind of God I'm talking about. That's the kind of riches I'm talking about. God has shared with me, hey, this and this person had to be removed out your life. That was a casualty of the spiritual war that you're facing because you are one of my generals. I'm talking about military. I'm talking about spiritual military. God has already revealed to me. He said, Kiana, you are a general. And because you are a general, there's going to be certain people that cannot be connected to you. There's going to be certain places you just cannot go. There's going to have to be some things that you hold dear to you that you're going to have to release. There's going to be some relationships that have to be severed. I know y'all cool, but hey, there's no room for friendship in this season. And let's be clear. Ending a season of friendship does not mean that there's beef. When my homegirl Quee, shout out Quee, that's my girl, I love you. We go way back. When she posted that on her IG, I was like, Jesus. Because that's the truth. Everybody think, oh, because I don't talk to you no more, we beefing. Baby, I'm not beefing with you. That season is just over with. I want you to eat, but just not at my table. And it's good. When I see you, hey, how you doing? God bless you. Over there. Not over here. But we just have to understand that just like there's summer, just like there's winter, just like there's fall. There is seasons in our lives. There's ever-changing experiences. There's people who are going to fall by the wayside. But just know that all things are working together for your good. God is not done with you. He is not through with you yet. If you have breath in your body, that means he got something else for you to do. My prayer is that you be blessed, that God's favor reigns over your life. And above all things, if you do not know him, that you get to know him. Because people will forsake you. People's intentions and love changes towards you But God is everlasting. His love is everlasting. He never changes. He never switches up. He is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Anything that you are holding on to, any bitterness, any hate, any resentment, any strife, I pray that you release it right now in the name of Jesus. It's not hurting that person, it's hurting you. Every time you hear this person's name or this person walks in the room and your whole attitude change, your whole countenance change, your whole, just environment switches, you giving that person way too much authority over you. Let go and let God. If they walked away, they were never supposed to stay. I pray y'all have a blessed day. Go to Witness Protection Podcast. It's on YouTube, Witness Protection Podcast. Do me a favor, subscribe. Hit that notification button. Share it with somebody. Somebody needs to hear this message. Somebody needs to hear this message. God bless you all. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I will see y'all soon. Peace.